Well, hello. Good morning. You know, the famous country singer Willie Nelson once described country music in this way. It's three chords and the truth. Well, the truth is, at least in my experience of country music, that a lot of country music is about love, and specifically love lost, the cheating lover, or love gone sour, unrequited love. And of course, this is not confined to country music. I remember the old folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary singing famously about the lemon tree. That was a popular song many, many years ago. And in that song, the lemon tree was described as beautiful with sweet flowers on the outside, but of course, bitter to the taste. And that is how love often is. Well, I think in our own lives, each of us, not just in love, but in life in general, we've all experienced disappointments, things that have not worked out the way we had hoped, things that went sour on us. And in our passage that we're looking at this week in our series of weekly devotionals, the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 5, the prophet begins this passage describing God's disappointment with the people of God. Isaiah writes, "Let me sing for my beloved my love song concerning his vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard on a very fertile hill. He dug it and cleared it of stones and planted it with choice vines. He built a watchtower in the midst of it and hewed out a wine vat in it. He expected it to yield grapes, but it yielded wild grapes." Disappointment. Well, how do we deal with disappointment? In a country song, it probably means you go to the local honky-tonk and drink your sorrows away with a glass of beer or whiskey, or maybe go fishing with your buddies, or maybe write another country song. How do we deal with disappointment? I think lots of times we give up. That's it. We give up. Well, how does God deal with disappointment? Well, when we read through the long story of God's relationship with God's people in the Hebrew Bible, what we commonly refer to as the Old Testament, we can see this pattern sort of repeating over and over again. The people of God follow God and God's calling for their lives, and things work out really well. But then ultimately, they turn away from God, and God is disappointed. But then God brings them back into the fold, and things work out again well, and then they disappoint God, and this cycle repeats over and over and over again. And throughout this long cycle, this long story, this long relationship, we can see how God deals with disappointment. God perseveres. God forgives. And God keeps on loving. That is how God deals with disappointment. Keeps on loving. Sounds like it might be a good title for a country song. What do you think? At any rate, I think it's good advice for us too. In dealing with our disappointments, to persevere, to forgive, and to keep on loving. Amen.